Welcome to Public Safety Talk Radio, the podcast for all of our heroes of public safety, including law enforcement professionals, firefighters, EMTs, corrections officers, healthcare workers, and more. The show is produced by the POCUA and is founded upon its Soundness Initiative. This episode is sponsored by the Finest Service Organization, a provider of line of duty death loan protection through many of our POCUA institutions. Hi, I'm your host for Public Safety Talk Radio, and welcome to Season 3. I'm really excited to launch a third season. The timing of it is a little bit different or a little bit sooner than I had planned, but given the changes in the Public Safety Business Summit, which was rescheduled to March 27th through 29th in 2022. We wanted to move up Season 3 so that we can lean into the first ever Public Safety Business Summit, which will be held in Savannah, Georgia at the Chart House in downtown Savannah. And barring any other type of pandemic ridiculousness, this is actually going to happen. It'll be great for any business, nonprofit that serves first responders and other public safety professionals. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited about our first episode of Season 3, which is with Kevin Reynolds of Taction USA. I actually recorded it with him for Season 2, but he was working on something special. So he asked that we lead off Season 3 with our conversation. We don't talk about it in the discussion because this didn't come to fruition yet, but they just announced this week that Taction USA came out with a Taction magnetic fingerprint brush. I'm not a detective. Kevin Reynolds, the owner, is, so I know that he could talk much more about it. But I encourage you to go to TactionUSA.com to learn more about this new patent pending product. And of course, watch or listen to the rest of this episode, the first episode of Season 3, to learn more about Kevin Reynolds and Taction USA. But before we get to that, I want to make a real special shout out to our returning platinum sponsor for Season 3 of Public Safety Talk Radio, and one of the platinum sponsors of the POCUA, and that is the Finest Service Organization. They are the provider of killed in the line of duty insurance, which law enforcement families can find at almost all of our POCUA credit unions. Probably the biggest ones, but not the only ones, are the National Police Credit Union that offers services to multiple states. The Police Credit Union out here in California, where we record from, that serve law enforcement families throughout this particular state. Also, Police Federal Credit Union of Omaha that serves Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. I know Police Federal Credit Union out of the Washington, D.C. area, which also serves multiple states, offers that particular killed in the line of duty insurance, and a number of others that I know I'm forgetting. There are literally only a couple of our POCUA credit unions that do not offer that. So if you are watching this show and you're interested in the killed in the line of duty insurance, then you go ahead and send us an email, and I will send you the nearest POCUA credit union that does offer that particular insurance. And know that even though you may have a credit union that's close to you that even has the word police in it, doesn't mean that they offer killed in the line of duty insurance, and it definitely doesn't mean that they are part of the POCUA. So come to us first, and we will steer you to the nearest POCUA credit union that offers that product. And again, a big thank you to the Finest Service Organization for being such a huge sponsor of Public Safety Talk Radio and the POCUA. Now let's get to the great conversation that I had with Kevin Reynolds of Taction USA. But let me introduce Kevin Reynolds. He's a full-time police detective in the Chicagoland area. He's also a Cubs fan, which is a real big problem for me, frankly, but we're going to try to let that go. He's been in law enforcement for nearly a decade before moving to the detective division and eventually becoming a supervisor. He's a graduate of Northern Illinois University, and he was raised by two entrepreneur parents along with his younger brother, and he now runs Taction USA. Taction aims to provide high-quality forensic products to police departments and CSI instructors across the U.S. with no minimum order and Amazon Prime shipping. I don't belong to Amazon Prime, but I'm assuming that's a good thing. But Kevin, Kevin, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
No problem. Hey, do you have like some Amazon Prime coupons for me or anything like that?
I think I can find something for you.
I mean, I don't need any, forensic stuff. I want to buy like a T-shirt, maybe some books.
I think I can wrangle up a gift card or two.
You can figure that out. Huh? So, I gotta ask, more so from an entrepreneurial standpoint, because that's my bag mainly. You've been in law enforcement for nearly a decade. When did the light bulb go on where you decided that the world needed better forensic products and that you were just the guy to do it?
Well, a lot of it came from just being, on scene using stuff that,
that was crap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we're two Chicago guys. We can call it like it is. It was crap.
Exactly. Something is just garbage, or you pull it out and you're like, I just bought this. How is it broken? And it just kind of came from stuff like that. And you try to order. There was one time, and I talked to a couple different guys that had this experience where they went to order, like, sometimes in policing, it's not the most efficient. So if you run out of something, you're like, okay, I got to put in a request and it's got to get approved by this guy. And then that guy's got to approve it. And I wanted to buy like one fingerprint brush, like just a single fingerprint brush. And I went to order it and I had to order like 5 of them just so I had to create an account. I had to log in. I had to then order 5 just so I hit their minimum order. And I'm like, I needed one brush, and now I have all these other things.
I can see you being in front of the computer going, I just need one freaking brush.
Yes.
And actually, that's not that bad. I was going to say, you needed to buy like a pack of 25 or something.
Just one. I had one break, and I'm like, I just need one extra. I always at least have one extra, and so now I have 5. So.
Well, couldn't you like repurpose one? Maybe like dust your living room with one.
Not a bad plan. No, just a very tiny duster.
Yeah, exactly. So you're the son of 2 entrepreneurial parents. In fact, before I even go into that, what do they do? They've obviously started businesses before. If you don't mind sharing, what's been their experience? Maybe I'd rather be talking to them than you.
Maybe. So they were both they're retired. They're retired now, so they were both in advertising. And they've done it, their entire lives. So they founded a little advertising firm, and this is back years and years ago, doing the phone book ads and stuff like that. So I was raised in an ad office, just finding the ads and full pages and stuff, and just pulling all the books for them. And I just growing up in that environment and seeing kind of the schedule and stuff like that. I mean, they had fun with it, and that was cool to see. So now it just I don't know, there's always that pull to kind of do that. So
yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, to make the better mousetrap, if you will. At least,
yeah.
At least when I was taking marketing classes in college, they were still using that phrase. But would you consider yourself, especially at this point, now that you've started and been running Taction USA for a little while? Would you say that you're an entrepreneur that happens to be a police officer? Or a law enforcement professional that just so happens to be an entrepreneur?
It's a little bit of both. You're kind of, and especially as a policeman, you kind of get used to wearing a couple different hats at one time. So this is just kind of another part. A lot of it it's all nights and weekends for this, and maybe that'll change somewhere down the road. But it's a weird switch, but it's just being a policeman, it's I wanted a little bit something a little bit different. I always had that pull from just being raised by 2 entrepreneurs that maybe there's a little something else that you can do, and it's interesting to me. So kind of a switch on and off just like that. So
Yeah, yeah. So you basically took the easy way out instead of answering my question. You say, "Hey, I'm a little bit of both."
yeah, it depends. You know, during the week, I'm a police detective. On the weekends, I'm an entrepreneur.
So, with Taction USA, I'm assuming if you need a darn brush, you could go and just buy one of them and not have to buy
Just buy
18 and a
one.
half.
Yep.
Um, I'm assuming that's one of the things that makes Taction USA better than your competitors. Give us the pitch. What makes Taction USA better than any other provider of forensic products out there?
Well, so our big thing is utilizing the Amazon Prime fulfillment. You know, we always joke that we're the Amazon Prime of forensic supplies, but that's true. All of our products are listed on Amazon. They're stocked there, and that's, you know, they're going to get it faster to you than I ever could. Even if I tried to ship it, you know, straight from my house, if I was sitting taking orders, you know, right away, just waiting by the computer, they're going to get it faster to you than anybody else. And, you know, kind of hopefully going by the wayside are going to be where you need 6 weeks ahead of time, you're making an order for something. And, you know, policemen, we're pretty good planners, but it's, you know, occasionally you run out of stuff and nobody really kept track of it, or they take the last one of something and they don't replace it, and you need something now.
Yeah.
So that's our goal, is get exactly what you need when you need it. And you don't have to order 10 of them to do it.
Yeah, I kid you not. This was probably about 5 years ago. I was doing some consulting work with one of our police credit unions in the POCUA, and somehow we got on this discussion about Amazon Prime. And I don't have a problem with Amazon Prime. I just, I have no kids. I live in a small house. I don't have to buy a lot of stuff, so I've never used it. But this marketing person at this particular credit union blurted out, "I love Amazon Prime more than I love my boyfriend." and to that point, I even said it then. I don't know if that speaks volumes about Amazon Prime or the fact that you just need a new boyfriend.
It's pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah.
You should try it. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
So I'm assuming that you're not going to say that you love Amazon Prime more than your wife.
Not that much, but it might be the other way around. She might love Amazon Prime more than me.
Well, that I can understand.
That, which I get. I mean, you see me, you get it.
Yeah. So what, a little bit off the cuff here, but what makes Amazon Prime the optimum avenue to buy these particular products, forensic produce, because cops need it quick, because cops need it, in small quantities, pricing, all the above.
It's kind of both, and our prices are good. Our prices are better sometimes because I don't have to juggle, trying to ship 50 pounds of something. Amazon can cover a lot of that just because of the way their network is set up to distribute products. So, we don't have to charge an extra $20 for shipping because it's kind of already built in to the selling side of Amazon. So it's nice that, because when you need something, I mean, that's pretty much our whole goal is if you need one of something, you don't have to plan and get all this approval. If you need one thing, you just get it. And, we're vigilant about keeping our inventory stocked, and it's, I guess that's kind of the best way to do things. I think it's the way that buying is going to be in the future for everything. Mm-hmm. When you want something, you can get it, and hopefully someday there'll be a fleet of Amazon drones to just deliver everything, where I order something right now and it'll be done by the time we're done with the podcast. It'll be at my door. So I just think it's the way that buying, any product is going. And I think we're hopefully a little bit ahead of the curve, and it's just a section of the market that people just don't pay attention to, that nobody's bothered to take a flyer on it. And I think hopefully it works out.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll come to a day where a whole CSI team is, at a crime scene, and like, hey, I forgot my supplies. Hey, no problem. We got Amazon Prime. They'll drone it over here in 5 minutes.
Oh, I love it.
See, I just came up with a whole new business model for it.
I love it. I like that plan a lot. We just have one guy. I'm just going to get a guy that has a drone. That's his whole job, is to fly it to guys on crime scenes.
Yeah. I'm sure they probably already made a movie on that kind of thing or something already. So I'm assuming that you don't have a whole garage full of a variety of forensic products that are waiting to go. Explain to me and our audience how the logistics work. Do you find certain providers that you like, that provide quality products, and then you act as a middleman using Amazon Prime to deliver them? Do I have that right? And if that's the case, how do you determine the suppliers so you know that you're getting quality products to your fellow officers?
Yeah, so anything that we roll out, I test first. Whatever I have in my actual kit, like a lot of it is stuff that I either use currently or will use when I run out, right? If I run out of fingerprint lifts, I'll just go and get some. And I have some here stored, just, as if we run low on something, or if somebody needs something, a bigger order that's, they don't want to order 50 from Amazon, they can come to us for bulk. And we do stuff like that. We'll do bulk orders if like a department's like, hey, I don't want to pay, I don't want to give Amazon all this money. I'll just order right from you guys. And we'll do custom orders and stuff. But, we'll source, we'll curate everything. And it's stuff that we actually use, because, some of these other companies, like, there's no way that, if you use some of these actual products, I can't imagine a guy using some of these other, obviously I'll look on these other forensic sites and see what they're offering. And I'm like, no real detective would ever use this. I can't imagine pulling this out on a crime scene. They'd be like, all right, you can go home. So, it's stuff that I would actually use. And that's kind of the basis for everything, is if I wouldn't use it, then we're not going to supply it. We're not going to order it. And if I get there's plenty of times where, we'll have, because now we're getting the attention of suppliers. So suppliers are reaching out to me constantly, and I'll say, great, well, send me, I'm looking for this. I see you guys have this, send me a couple samples and I'll try it. And if they send it to me and it's crap, I don't use it. And that's, I guess I'm the quality control, but that's my bar, is if I'm not going to take it on a crime scene, neither should you as a consumer, right? Like,
well, I would assume, some of your fellow law enforcement professionals, if they're having a problem with a product that they buy through Taction USA, you could at least say, hey, well, I haven't had that experience. I've been using it for 3.5 years.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Maybe it's user error. Maybe you're the problem.
And it's funny because, if I can just go off on this quick story. Please. So
coming this March 27th through the 29th, 2022 in Savannah, Georgia, is the first Public Safety Business Summit, a program specifically created for organizations that serve first responders. What you will experience is a high level of networking and collaboration among like-minded leaders who are in the business of serving first responders. What you won't get are a series of boring lectures with no interactivity, ridiculous golf outings that are only appealing to a few attendees, or a couple of retreaded subjects that you can hear at any credit union league event that are just thrown into the curriculum. We offer an engaging agenda where attendees even help to determine the content during the actual conference based on their unique needs. If you run a business, a credit union, or a nonprofit that specifically serves first responders, then the Public Safety Business Summit is for you. For more information, go to www.policecreditunions.com or call 331-300-9889. We hope to see you in Savannah. on March 27th, 28th, and 29th of 2022.
The whole reason that we even thought of it is, way back when, this is well over a year now. We've been in business for a while now, but it's, we were trying to make a bulk order of things. Like, we were trying to get a list of things. All right, we're low on fingerprint brushes. We're low on this. We're low on the, hinge lifters. We're low on all these things, right? And we're trying to get an order together because it has to be so much. It's going to take so long to get here. So we're getting an order, getting this big list together with everybody. And one of the guys has made a comment just kind of off the cuff, like, why can't it just be on Amazon like everything else I buy?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, it should be on Amazon. You're right.
So did you go home that night, or if you were on third shift, go home in the morning and get a napkin or something? Go, we can make this happen.
I went and looked, and I'm like, yeah, this is a great. Yeah, it should be on Amazon.
So now you can tell that story on Shark Tank.
Exactly.
So
if there are any sharks watching, which I'm sure there are, please, any money. I would love a lot of money. $500,000, $250,000. That's
well, I mean, I'm in constant contact with Damon John and Mark.
Please, yes, send them my way. Yeah.
And the cute blonde. What was Lori Grenier? Yeah, they're talking to me all the time.
Any of them, yeah. Send them my way. That'd be great.
But not Kevin O'Leary. I think Kevin and I would probably too. Yeah, we have a similar attitude and we have the same hairstyle. I don't think that would work. So so I gotta ask you this: how often are you using? Because I'm assuming some suppliers send you stuff in the hopes that you're able to sell it and that you list it and so forth. How often are you at a crime scene using something new that a supplier sent you and go, wow, okay, that's crap. I'm never putting that down on the website.
I test it myself at my house. The last thing I want to do is roll something out untested to a crime scene, and that's the thing, like, if we don't do something right, it's not like, oh, this is crap, I'm just going to throw it away. Like, potentially we're letting a bad guy go, or, something like there's real world consequences to having bad products. So, I get anxiety just thinking about taking something out on the scene and just being like, oh, well, that piece of evidence is
gone.
Just throw that away. That's
well, maybe we'll catch the next guy.
Yeah, he'll probably do it again.
So me and my crazy mind just went there. So you get something new and you say you got to try it out at the house first. Is that kind of like, hey honey, I got this new crime scene tape. Can you lay on the floor? Yeah, just lay on the floor for a little while. No, it's not some kinky sex thing or anything like that. Just lay on the floor. I want to try out this new tape. Don't move.
Don't move. She hasn't fallen for the new handcuff thing. Doesn't work.
I didn't expect this to be one of my more humorous episodes, but it's turned out to be. Thanks for playing along, Kevin.
Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind one bit.
So getting into semi-serious mode, what are probably maybe the top 2 or 3 products that you offer that you really do stand behind, that you put your name behind and say, I use this. If you buy this through Taction USA, you're getting one of the best products for this sector that you're going to get.
Yeah, so one of our our 2 most popular things are our L scales for photographs. Okay. So if you have something, you have a bullet hole or you have a pry mark or something like that, and you take your photographs of it, and then you put your scale next to it so you can see, if you were ever to go and compare it to something else, or you find the actual tool and you try to, they can test it at the lab and things like that and compare it to, you have to take 2 scale photographs. So using that, and it's a silly thing, but I don't know why, like, the ones that I always had before are always in the metric system. which is silly
That'd
because
be great if you want to get a new cop job in like Montreal or something.
Exactly. Yeah. But people, they're like, all right, well, and like looking at it, and you talk to somebody on the phone and they're like, all right, we're comparing tool marks, for instance. It's like, all right, well, it's 10 millimeters. And they're like, well, I don't know how big that is. Like, how many inches is it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Now you got to do math in your head.
I'm like, I'm a policeman. I can't do math. So like ours, for instance, is in inches because it just makes more sense to me. So that's one of our more popular things for, it's geared towards U.S. law enforcement because you look at a hole or a stab wound or something and you want to know, okay, it's 3 inches wide. Like it's an easy thing. And we have hinge lifters. So if you have a fingerprint, and you process it and you want to lift it, these are basically, it has a glossy back and it's like a plastic piece of tape with glue on it, and you lift it and you fold it over onto this back and it's like a little hinge and it perfectly contains your fingerprint on that. And for whatever reason, nobody can seem to get, I don't know if it's the glue or the tape or like they can never seem to get it right, where you'll take it out in the heat and you'll use like, I would never name any names, but you'll use some other companies and you'll try and peel obviously it has a film over it, you'll try and peel it off to go lift it, and they have stuff printed on it and it'll come off on the glue and you're like, well, I can't use this now because there's writing on it and all this. So there's things like that I just, for whatever reason, nobody's improved them, or they just fall apart over time. I don't know. So those two things have really kind of stood the test of time, and surprisingly people use them and reorder them. And that's what signals to us where they'll order, like a department will order like 5. Right. And then they'll come in and they'll order 20 because now they've tested it, they've got it, and they're like, oh, these are pretty good. And then they'll roll them out to everybody else. So I like those. There are 2 things that we're rolling out that I'm really excited for. One is our basic detective kit, which is going to be a magnifying glass, just kind of for fun. I think every detective should have one. It's a fun thing to show.
Go back to your Sherlock Holmes days.
Exactly.
Is it like a big one with a long handle?
They're little. It's just, I think everybody should have one. That's just part of it. But it has magnetic fingerprint powder. It has, your standard black fingerprint powder. It comes with a brush for each. It comes with hinge lifters, and it's in this nice soft shell case. It's easy to take to crime scenes, and that's going to be out in a few weeks. I'm pretty excited, but getting all of those products good enough, that's been the challenge, is really finding good products to make sure, sourcing them and finding good manufacturers and getting those, and then we have a new fingerprint brush, which my hat goes off to some engineers, because I never thought that it would be as difficult as it is to design a new fingerprint brush. And I wish I would have grabbed some to show you, but they look like they look crazy. They look like they're from space, and for no reason at all. They're weirdly shaped, and they're long at the end, and
do they come with like a jar of Tang too, or
like they should? Yeah, they're crazy looking. And a kid, we do like presentations at high schools and grade schools and stuff like that. And, everybody gets excited to fingerprint stuff. And I pulled out one of the magnetic brushes and they're like, why does it look like that? And like, they're kids, they don't know. And I'm like, that's a good point. Why do they have to look like this? So that's something that I'm excited. We're probably still about a month out. We're finishing up the design and the tooling of it, but it's basically going to be a magnetic fingerprint brush that functions just like a ballpoint pen. So
interesting.
Hopefully that will be, I think that's something that, it's obviously very specific to detectives and crime scene investigators, but I think they'll really like that because, one, it's going to look normal, and it's going to be easy to use. And, I think people will really, really like that. I hope. If not, we've sunk a bunch of money into something that But
Well, no entrepreneur has never done anything like
that's
that.
never
Sunk a
happened.
bunch of money
That's
into
probably
something that
happened
just didn't
once,
work out.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's never happened. But it's interesting as I was thinking about your comments about the metric system on, I forget the name of the tool again. I'm not a cop. I'm just a podcaster. But yeah, I was thinking that for probably different locations in different regions, you probably need different tools. Like I keep thinking, yeah, Chicago, where you are and I'm from, yeah, you're going from 30 below wind chills to
Mhm.
98 degrees in humidity throughout
Mhm.
the year.
Most of the
Whereas,
time in one day.
yeah, sometimes, yeah, if you don't like the weather in Chicago, wait an hour, it'll change.
Yeah.
Or but here where I am now in Los Angeles, the temperature swings is very little, and you're probably never going to get rain. So a product that may work 24/7, 365 here in Los Angeles may not be the case in Chicago just
Mhm.
because of the different weather swings. Do
Yeah.
you come across that as well, or is that just way
Most
off?
most of the stuff that we source is kind of universal.
Yeah.
Because that's that. At some point we may get to more regionally specific products, but right now it's more about trying to roll out as many universally used products as we can. Like everybody uses fingerprint powder, everybody
Right.
uses fingerprint brushes, things like that. Like trying to get it, just the main thing, so that way they don't have the same frustrations that kind of we've all had in law enforcement, which is trying to get supplies easily. Like it doesn't need to be complicated. I have no idea why it is, but to uncomplicate it, that seems like hopefully something that will be well received by the community, and hopefully it continues to go well.
Yeah. So looking ahead, whether it's then you might have even already touched on this with the detective kit and so forth, but looking ahead a year, a couple years, what's on the horizon for Taction USA? What can your customers look forward to? Are you going to sell more stuff on the metric system to Toronto? What are we going to do in the next few years?
Yeah, so I think every once in a while we'll get apparently for some reason it's very hard to get forensic supplies in like some other countries. Like so we have a Facebook group. Shout out if you want to follow us and join our Facebook group, Taction USA. It's facebook.com/group/Taction USA if you want to follow it. But there, for some reason, like Africa is very difficult to get forensic supplies. So there, I'll get messages and stuff, and they'll be like, "Hey, can you ship this here?" And I'm like, "Great, yeah, the product costs $10 or whatever, but the
Yeah.
shipping is 50. So we haven't
Yeah,
quite.
you got to staple it to Cheetah or something.
Yeah,
Hope
yeah.
it gets
So
there.
at some point, we'll probably expand to cover Canada and Mexico, and then kind of maybe go from there, utilizing that same Amazon distribution. I mean, they have kind of cracked the code in terms of getting stuff to getting products in people's hands.
Mhm.
So we'll probably use that. It's to juggle the inventory globally versus just for the United States. It's a huge step. So eventually we'll get there. It will probably take some time, but we try to roll out a new product every few weeks. Has been kind of the push, especially for the last 6 months. We've hit a few hurdles with COVID, and there's less people working in some of these businesses and stuff like that. But that's kind of been our goal. We have about 6 new products coming. So most of them are just kind of your basic run of the mill, fingerprint powder, magnifying glasses, things like that. A lot of the things that are included in the detective kit, we're also rolling out as individual products. So if guys have, a lot of detectives will have a kit already. So some of these things they can just use, and eventually we'll probably sell the shell itself too, just because it's a nice case. We have pluck foam inside of it, so you can customize, like, oh, I like my brushes over here, and sometimes we can be particular about where we like things we like things a certain way, some of us. So you can customize it however you want. And
all you OCD cops.
Yes.
The brush needs to be here.
It goes here. So those are the things, and honestly, we're open to feedback. That's why we have the Facebook group, and we have, in that group, we have kind of like some beta testers. That was kind of how we got started with some of these new products. And we just asked people that ran their crime scene units, or detectives that were out, in the field working every day, like, well, what do you want next? What do you need the most? What do you find that, what sucks that you want a better version of?
Yeah.
And that's what we've been rolling out. Even to the point of where we're rolling out kind of like one of those Yeti looking mugs, but it's got forensics on the side. And that was just something that, like, hey, it'd be kind of cool if you had like a forensics thing, like something, like coffee cup is fun. So that's something that's going to be out in,
cap, condom,
matching jacket, leather jackets, I think maybe, but that's, that came from the community. That came as a suggestion, and we're like, yeah, we'll make it. Sure. So if, if there's something that, if for the detectives and CSI and policemen that are watching this, hopefully it's a lot of you, but if there's something that you want or want to see a better version of, tell us and we'll make it. So that's, that's the best way that I can kind of, answer that, I guess.
Yeah, well, kudos to you, like a true entrepreneur and business person. Don't just create it, go out to your customer base and ask them what the heck they want. And I think, whether it's Facebook or direct or some kind of online form or Instagram, TikTok, MySpace, whatever the heck it is.
Especially MySpace.
Yeah, the MySpace one. You might not get as much traction on the MySpace one, but hey, maybe it just needs to be tried again.
There's one guy on there like, oh, why is nobody here?
Yeah. Can I get a brush? I don't need
nobody.
5. So, before my jokes get even more dumb than they already are, last question I have for you, Kevin, and you already alluded to it with the Facebook group. How can all of our officers out there who need forensic products best find you, or better yet, Taction USA?
Yeah, so TactionUSA.com, TACTION. USA.com. That's everything on there. So as we roll out new products, that we'll put them on the website, and as they list simultaneously on the Amazon storefront. So you could go to our Amazon store, but that's a huge long URL. If you go to the website, that's the easiest. It links directly to that listing, to every product that we have. You can get some information. You can sign up for our emails. You can fill out the contact form. So if you don't want to join our Facebook group, that's totally fine, but you want to make a bulk order, or you want something specific, or you're like, hey, this sucks, make a new one. Fill out the contact form, and I personally look at every single communication that comes in. It takes a little bit sometimes, but I personally look at everything, and we respond to every comment, every message, every email. That's, because our customers are the lifeblood. They're really steering the ship. We're here to just kind of make it happen. So whatever you guys want, whatever you guys need, let us know, and we will get it for you. Probably faster and probably cheaper than some of the other companies that are out there. Yeah, and that's our goal, and we plan to stick to that.
Awesome. So if you're out there and you're tired of trying to convert the metric system to US numbers, and you need something with inches, go to TaxionUSA.com. Kevin, it was awesome to talk to you. I had so much fun, and thank you for laughing at my jokes. I appreciate it.
Hey, they were good. They were good. I love it. Thank you. I seriously thank you for having me. It was awesome to be on the show, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate anybody if you stuck with us this long. Thank you.
The pleasure was all mine. I promise you I won't be doing any open mic stand-ups anytime soon. But thank you again, Kevin, and thank you to all of you who have spent a little time with us today and who have either listened to or watched this episode of Public Safety Talk Radio. And we'll be back with you in about a week with another episode and maybe another joke or two. Take care. Public Safety Talk Radio is produced by the POCUA. POCUA is a consortium of financial institutions serving law enforcement as well as other first responders and public safety professionals. To learn more about our association and to find one of our credit unions or service providers near you, go to www.policecreditunions.com. And always remember, if you aren't working with one of our POCUA credit unions, you're just banking with an institution that just so happens to serve first responders. As a public safety professional, you and your family deserve better. Find a POCUA credit union today.